exactly the universe works. Not why it works, but how it works. Okay? So, basically, the universe is just one gigantic, long piece of string that's oscillating at different wavelengths from everything from nothing to infinity. If you want to think about it in three-dimensional terms, it's a series of spheres that are getting infinitely smaller and infinitely larger. Okay? So, let me explain how that works. So, here, you basically have all the waves. Love waves oscillate at 10 to the 0, which these are approximations because everything in the universe is pretty much infinite, except for the limiting speed of light and the different oscillations of the waves, but we'll just use whole numbers for now because humans can comprehend that, okay? So love waves oscillate at 10 to the 0, which is 1 time per minute. Time waves oscillate at 10 to the second, which is 100 times per minute. Which makes sense because human beings, if you look at their heart on a cardiac monitor, the average human heart rate is in between 60 and 100 times per minute. Okay? You have radio waves that oscillate at 10 to the 4th power, microwaves 10 to the 10th, infrared at 10 to the 12th, visible light at 10 to the 15th, ultraviolet at 10 to the 16th, X-ray at 10 to the 18th, and gamma rays that oscillate at 10 to the 20th. Beyond there, the waves get to the point where they start oscillating at infinity. And that's the magnetic waves that basically pushes everything out. Gravity waves oscillate at infinity as well. They'll hold everything in. Okay? So, basically, all these waves oscillate transversely. Like if you had a rope and you were doing this and it was going down the line like that, that's how these oscillate. Gravity and magnetic waves oscillate both transversely and longitudinally. So longitudinally is if you had a spring, somebody else was holding the other side of the spring, and you were pushing it back and forth, you would see the waves oscillate like that. They oscillate both transversely and longitudinally because that's in the shape of a sphere. Okay? That's why whenever we have earthquakes and things like that on the Earth, they're both longitudinal and transverse waves. Okay, so that's basically how the waves oscillate. Okay? So whenever Einstein came up with E equals mc squared, which was basically given to him in a dream. And the idea that I had that the entire universe is just one infinitely long piece of string was given to me in a dream. Okay? He dreamt that he was rolling down a hill and his speed was gradually increasing until he sped up to the speed of light. And that's what gave him the idea for energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. Okay? So, energy is basically magnetic waves. Mass is gravitational waves times the speed of light squared. So magnetic waves are infinite, gravitational waves are infinite. The only limit is the speed of light. That is basically the speed limit of the universe. And without that, everything couldn't exist. Okay? So let's move on from there. So, how is an atom formed? Well, an atom is formed from the string. The string is infinite. It's always been and it always will be. But it's fundamentally formed from the string. But this is how an atom forms, okay? So, you have love waves. The string comes along, which is love waves. And it starts to collect in kind of like a triangle. The love waves start to ravel together, making time waves. The time waves and the love waves start to ravel together, making radio waves. Okay? From there, the waves get to the point where they start oscillating and raveling together until they oscillate up to infinity. And from there, you have an electron. Okay? This happens again, creating another electron. The electrons then slam into each other, and that basically, the waves, all interconnecting, raveling, everything like that, creates neutrons. Okay? So they start to basically ravel together. All the waves that are the love, time, radio, microwave, infrared, and visible light, they come together, and that makes protons. Okay? So, protons consist of love, time, radio, microwave, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma rays. Okay? So, basically, that is how atoms are formed. Okay? So, how was the sun formed? Well, basically, all that happens is the atom is formed, it shoots out string, and follows the same template, and another atom is made. Those slam together. Another atom is made. Those slam together. Another atom is made, and slowly over time, you have a star. Okay. Then, basically, everything in this process happens in reverse, okay? So from there, a galaxy is created, okay? So it's basically a process of the atoms are formed, they basically slam together, slam together, slam together, slam together, slam together in a, process that takes beyond comprehension. And then after that happens, the same thing happens on the next gratis up, and I'll explain gratises in a little bit. But that's how galaxies are formed, okay? But fundamentally, it's all string. It's all a piece of string getting infinitely smaller and infinitely larger, okay? So, let me explain to you what dark matter and dark energy are, okay? So basically, whenever the star, the black hole, and the neutron all slam together, that creates the star, the black hole, and the star, the black hole, and, you know, more or less kind of like the planets, moons, and asteroids are formed by everything slamming together. And that creates an interstellar cloud, okay? So, where everything slammed together is what we call the singularity. So whenever after everything slams together, you have both magnetic waves pushing everything out and gravity waves pulling everything in. So there are infinite locations in this interstellar cloud. So basically, singularity starts pulling in the string from all those infinite locations. So let's take this location, for instance. So it starts pulling in the string from all the locations within this circle. Okay? It starts pulling them in, and as it does, there's a pushing of magnetic waves and a pulling of gravitational waves. Okay? So that causes a spin. Okay? And everything starts to collect in different areas. And that is how, in the center, is the black hole, where string starts to collect again. Outside of the black hole is where the stars begin to form, is where the planets and moons and asteroids begin to form. Okay? That's how dark matter works. Dark matter, basically, like for instance, the middle of the Earth. The middle of the Earth has an origin point of gravity, and the black hole is pulling on that, okay? But the black hole is also pushing out magnetic waves towards the Earth. So in order for the magnetic waves to get back to the origin of gravity, they have to basically travel through all the atoms of the Earth, okay? All the string of the Earth. They have to travel through all of it. And it takes time for them to do that, because the speed of light is fast, but it's still limiting. It's not infinite. So it takes time for them to get back to the origin of gravity of the Earth, the very center of it, before it gets pulled into the black hole. So the black hole is pulling in everything uniformly, okay? That is what dark matter is. Now let me explain dark energy. Okay? So, black holes repel each other magnetically for the most part. Okay? That's what dark energy is. Dark matter is everything being pulled in uniformly by gravity. That's why whenever you look at other galaxies, everything orbits around the black hole at the same speed. Okay? But dark energy is basically magnetic waves being pushed out and also pulled in from other black holes. But the thing about it is we're seeing space in such slow time that we're not seeing the way that galaxies actually orbit. Is we've always thought about it like, here's a black hole and here's the galaxy orbiting around it. But that's not really what's happening. The black holes, the planets, asteroids, moons, and stars are all orbiting each other at the same speed. So rather than everything just orbiting the galaxy is actually spinning like this. Because everything is just, we can't see it because it's happening so slowly. For us to be able to see that, we would probably have to be able to look at the galaxies through telescopes for possibly billions of years, which we can't see. But what happens is if two galaxies get close enough and they're on the same plane and they're orbiting and the north and south poles meet up, those black holes, they're close enough, they attract and BAM! Okay, so LIGO, whenever they saw that just a few years ago with the black holes colliding, that's what happened. The poles met up. Okay? So, that's how dark matter works. That's how dark energy works. Let me look at my notes to see if I need to talk about anything else. Oh, yeah. Let me talk about that. So, like I was talking about earlier, the love waves, radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma rays. Okay, so what is the difference between a black hole, a star, and a planet? Okay, so a black hole consists of love waves, time waves, and radio waves, okay, that get to the point where they oscillate up to infinity and create the magnetic infinite oscillations and the gravitational infinite oscillations, hold it together, that creates a black hole. A neutron, or I didn't want to get into that yet because that's kind of deep, but a planet basically consists of love waves, time waves, radio waves, microwaves, infrared waves, and visible light waves. Okay? So that's what a planet pretty much consists of. A star consists of love waves, time waves, radio waves, microwaves, infrared, visible light, ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma rays. Okay? So that's what all of them basically consist of. So, let me show you how and why they all look the way they do. Because they're basically just all waves oscillating at different frequencies. Okay? So this is a neutron. This is a proton. This is an electron. Okay? So, you basically take 3 sets of lines to factor for love, time, and radio waves. So you have sorry, I'm doing it backwards. So, yeah, you do the electron. So you basically have love, time, and radio waves. So that's 3. So you have 1, 2, now second waves. Okay. And then you have the neutron, which is 6 different waves. Okay? And then you have the proton, which is 9 different ways. I don't want to waste your time and take a lot of that, but that's basically like okay, my battery died. So anyway, you have the electron that consists of love, time, radio waves. The neutron that consists of love, time, radio, microwave, infrared, visible light. And the proton, which consists of all those waves plus X-ray or ultraviolet, X-ray, and gamma waves. So they're all shooting out string to each other, okay? Basically, infinitely, okay? Whenever we look at the microwave cosmic background, basically all we're just seeing is the string. Whenever you're looking at static on your TV, you're basically just seeing the string being infinitely pushed out and infinitely pulled back in. That's all you're seeing. That's all we're seeing is a string. They thought that the universe was 13.7 billion years old. It's not. It's infinite. It's infinitely old, and it's going to be infinitely growing. Okay? So, the biggest thing that's probably going to blow your mind is okay, let me explain the gradiuses of space. So with that, I can explain time dilation, okay? So say you're leaving Earth and you're heading straight for a black hole, okay? Well, the closer you get to the black hole, the faster you're going to be going, okay? The more that the black hole is going to be pulling you in. And also, the faster time is going to be going relative to someone back on Earth, okay? That's basically relativity, okay? But once you reach the event horizon, okay, outside of a black hole, outside of the event horizon, time and entropy are infinitely increasing. Once you pass the event horizon and enter the black hole, time will be infinitely decreasing, okay? So once you got to the other side of the black hole, time and entropy would start increasing again, okay? So if you connect these, what do you see? It's a cube, right? Well, those are the gradiuses of space, okay? So we have atoms within us. Out there, we can see galaxies. So what's the difference between atoms and galaxies? Nothing. They're the same thing. The only difference is, whenever we look at the atom, we're looking at the bottom of our gratis. Okay? Whenever we look at the galaxy, we're looking at the top of our gratis. So on the other side of that gratis is an atom within someone else. Just like within us, whenever we look at our atom, on the other side of that gratum, we can look at the galaxy. Okay? Do you understand that? So basically, the gradiuses of the universe are infinite. Okay? So this is a black hole, 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 this is a black hole. So the way that it works is the string gets shot out among the gratis, okay? And it also gets shot out to gradiuses infinitely everywhere else, okay? I'll put this in cubical shape because it's easier for human comprehension, okay? But so black hole shoots out string to black hole, and therefore subsequently thereafter. So I basically could keep just connecting dots, and if this marker had ink that was so thin that it was 0.003 from infinity, I basically could keep drawing lines in this cube and it wouldn't be completely black until I drew to 0.003 from infinity. Okay? So, can you understand that? It basically means that everything is infinite. Okay? So, nothing is equal to everything. Okay? It's just a big loop, okay? So, those are the gradiuses of space, okay? It's just string. We're all the same piece of string, okay? It's basically infinitely small and infinitely large. You know, it's a series of spheres, infinitely small and infinitely large. A piece of string that is oscillating at different wavelengths, going everything from nothing to infinity. Okay? That's how it all works. Okay? What else do I have to talk about? Oh, okay. So, how is life made? Okay? So, it's basically just with the string. Okay? It's the electron shooting out love, time, radio waves. It's the neutron shooting out love, time, radio, infrared, or microwave, infrared, and visible light. And it's the proton shooting out all those, plus ultraviolet, X-rays, and gamma rays. They're basically shooting out the string to one another. And that's how DNA is made. Do you understand that? That's all DNA is the string. It's the string, all intermingled together. That's what makes life. Okay? I could get deeper into that, but that's pretty deep. Yeah, that's how everything exists. Okay? And it might throw you for a loop to hear that a proton is a star, a neutron is an asteroid, moon, and planet, and a electron is a black hole. But that's what it is. Those are the gradiuses of space. Okay, those are what separate the three dimensions of space. You can look at the three dimensions in different ways. Okay, so you can look at it like this: the string is the first dimension. Electrons, protons, neutrons, subatomic, are the second dimension. Molecules that those make up are the third dimension. Or you can look at it like subatomic, atomic, and then space. And those are the three dimensions of space, okay? That's all that DNA is the string. So, I'll explain to you how you're made, okay? So, when your parents come together and they consummate, their strings are interwoven, okay? Kind of like, it's the same thing whenever black holes come together and time is created. Time waves are created. The love waves and the love waves come together and time is created, okay? It's the same thing with you, okay? So, their DNA waves come together and make you, okay? That's all that the cosmological constant is magnetic waves, okay? And that's the way that basically we are made, is the DNA just kind of splices together and bam, inflation occurs. It's just like those two black holes coming together. That could be considered cosmic deflation, because that last second they're like, okay, put that in reverse, that's inflation. That's the same thing that happens with everything. We can basically throw out the Heisenberg principle, all that stuff like that now, because everything in the universe, once you get to the fundamental level of the string, everything follows Newton's laws. Okay, you don't have to worry about Heisenberg and all that stuff anymore. It's not that confusing. It's just string. That's all it is. Okay. So yeah, your parents come together, their DNA basically intertwines, and bam, you're made. That's how all life is made. It's basically instant inflation. Bam. Okay. So that's that. And okay, so let me show you a couple things real quick to basically prove all this. Okay, so you can actually draw infinite dimensions on 2 dimensions. So let me show you how. Okay, so basically, this is a multiple dimensional tesseract, okay? And you can draw that in 2 dimensions, okay? So, this is where it starts to get trippy, and this is where the string really comes into play, okay? And this is how I can tell you that the string is being infinitely shot out of all 3 electrons, neutrons, and protons, okay? That's all we are. That's all the atmosphere is. That's all that life is string. It's all string, with the string traveling through you at the speed of light, okay? But whenever there's a lot for the light to travel through before it gets back to the origin of gravity, to shoot back to the black hole, that takes some time, okay? But anyway, so this tesseract, so that's how you draw a tesseract, this many dimensions. How many dimensions do you have? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different dimensions. So let's just keep adding dimensions and see what happens. with dimensions until it basically turns black, okay? And that's basically what a black hole is. The reason that a black hole is black because it only consists of love, time, and radio waves, okay? And none of those can be seen, so it's completely black. The reason a neutron is, you can see everything, is because it consists of visible light and ultraviolet, or visible light. Where does it stop at? Yeah, because it consists of visible light. And a proton, which is a star, consists of all those waves, including ultraviolet, X-ray, gamma rays, and all those mixed together makes a whole lot of light shooting at you, string shooting at you infinitely. So, this is basically what you see whenever you look at the TV and you see static on your TV, okay? Okay, so as you can see, we're starting out pretty simple, okay? Then we start to get more intense. Now you have that. Now let's go for some more. Okay? And basically, that's all you're seeing. Whenever you're looking at static on your TV, you're just seeing the string being infinitely shot out and infinitely pulled back in. Okay? It's being shot out to you, and you're pulling it back in. So, how does that string get back to the black hole? Well, it travels through all your atoms. It travels through all the atoms that are in the wall, in the furniture, everything like that, and slowly, traveling at the speed of light, makes it back its way back down to the origin of gravity of the Earth, and then immediately shoots back to the black hole. Okay? So, that's how that basically works. Let me make sure that I've went over everything. Yeah, so with this, you can see that nothing is equal to infinity, and nothing and infinity are equal to Trinity, okay? So even though I'm explaining how the entire universe works, I'm not explaining why the entire universe works. It's okay for us to know this stuff, okay? But why does because all we are is basically string. So once the string gets to a certain point, There's something that tells the baby in a mother's womb, okay, fully developed, time to get out. Okay? There's something that tells a tree, okay, life's over, time to die now. You know, same thing with us. What that is, who knows? I have a hard time believing there's not something that's doing it. And this isn't just all by chance. There's too much synchronicity and stuff like that that exists out there for it just to happen by chance. Okay? But yeah, so that basically covers all the different religions. You know, sorry if I leave any out, but you have, you know, Judaism and Hinduism, which is, you know, God, you know, the chakras, the third eye. You have Buddhism, you know, which is the yin and the yang. And you have Christianity and Islam, which are the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. You know, the Father being the black hole, the Son being the planet, you know, neutron, and the Holy Spirit being the proton, you know, star. So it basically covers all of them. What happens after you die, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I mean, you might immediately, your energy get sucked back into the black hole. That could be heaven. You could just, your string basically could just, your consciousness could move on to the next conscious being that's being created. What that is, I don't know. That consists of all life, whatever has DNA. That could be a virus, a bacteria, a tree, an animal, anything that has DNA you could move on to. Or, you know, the most boring one, but at the same time the most practical, you know, your DNA basically gets ingested and absorbed by another living being with DNA, you know. So that's definitely the most boring, but it's the most practical as well. So that's what happens with that. And trying to make sure that I've covered everything. What was I thinking about that I was going to say? Oh, okay. So I want to make some, I want to give some recognition to some certain people that helped me puzzle all this together. And I mean, it really includes everything that's ever existed up until this point. Because we all keep each other in equilibrium, but some special ones are Albert Einstein, Newton, Dr. Michio Kaku for basically getting the wheel spinning on this by throwing out riddles on Twitter, and really got me to thinking about things and basically made me decide, why should I depend on everybody else to solve this? Why can't I just work on it myself? And it worked out, apparently. So, Newton, Einstein, Kaku, and Leonardo da Vinci, okay? Over 531 years ago, he made the Vitruvian Man, okay? If you look at the Vitruvian Man, it basically shows how whenever a human being is spread out, they make a perfect circle, okay? Because that's all you are, is an accumulation of the string. I can't tell you how large the string is, but I can tell you its circumference is pi, okay? So, yeah, I mean, that's all you are, is an accumulation of string. And it's interesting to look at the Vitruvian Man, because whenever the person's spread out, and the very middle of the circle, guess where it is? The belly button, where you originate, where your string originates, okay? And, you know, that's all it is string. That's why every generation we get a little bit smarter and a little bit smarter. because it's more string. More string is being added. You're more developed. So I almost guarantee you in a million years or so, if human beings still exist, animals will probably start getting to the point where they have the cognitive faculty to communicate with human beings. You know what I mean? It's probably going to get to that point a long way down the road, but it's going to get to that point because they already communicate with one another. They just can't communicate with other species, really. Well, I mean, they kind of can, but not very well. So, I mean, it's basically just string. And a lot of people might ask, well, if the speed of light is the speed limit of the universe, is time travel possible? Time travel is possible. You're time traveling right now. You're time traveling into the future right now. The string is moving through you, all your atoms, at the speed of light, oscillating from everything from nothing to infinity, okay? Which is the same thing. So, yeah, time travel is possible, okay? Everything outside of black holes and electrons, time and entropy is increasing. Within electrons and the event horizon, it's infinitely decreasing. That's what keeps everything in equilibrium, okay? So, I think that pretty much covers everything. Yeah, so I have a GoFundMe page. It's called Magnitis Toys, Magnitis, and if you would like to contribute to that, I would appreciate it. You know, just so I can keep engineering, creating. Right now I'm working on a couple different clean energies that pretty sure will work. I already patented a toy. I'll probably do some more stuff like that. So if you'd like to contribute to that, that would be great. Magnitis Toys on GoFundMe. If not, you know, that's your decision. That's fine with me. I don't have a book or anything like that to make money off of. You know, I'm basically just putting this information out in the world on YouTube. So I don't, you know, have any other means to make money off of it besides that. So I would appreciate it if you would contribute. But yeah, I hope all this information has been enlightening, which I'm sure it has. And that's basically how the entire universe works physically. So it's okay for us to know this information, okay? We can know how it works. We'll just never know for sure. Or we may not, never know why. You know, you can know how, but not why. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to show a few videos now with magnetic experiments that will basically show you how this all comes together, how it all basically works, how cosmic deflation works, inflation works, how the DNA waves basically come together and splice, and life is made. But yeah, on the fundamental level, all it is just string intertwining and coming together, you know. So that's all it is. That's all it is, guys. So, okay, enjoy the videos. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I have two balls, two magnetic spheres that are tied up to a string up top, and they're orbiting each other. And this is what the black holes did, okay, whenever they combined. Okay, so you'll see they're going to get faster and faster and faster. And whenever they do finally combine, you're going to see a whole lot of energy. See? You put that process in reverse, And that's what we call cosmic inflation. That very second, whenever they first combine, creates a whole lot of energy. And that's how LIGO saw those gravity waves. Alright, now I've got your attention. Here we go. Two pieces of string coming together. Now we have 4 and 3, which makes 7. Also a cool number. What's going to happen here? Once again, a circle. Okay, so here's 2 strings facing opposite directions. Watch what happens whenever I throw them together. Infinity. Okay guys, so one last thing. I just wanted to show you more evidence that we're just string. I mean, it's very profound. We're all basically connected by the same piece of string that's infinitely small and infinitely large, oscillating from everywhere from nothing to infinity. Okay, that's pretty profound. But this is just an example of kind of like how we're made with string. Okay, so you have 3 different circles, okay? Let me zoom in on this a little bit. Okay, so first one, you just put in lines going this way. Second one, you put in lines going the other way. Third one, you put in lines going other ways. Okay, so what does that look like to you? Looks like a human eye, right? Yeah, I mean that's all it is. It's basically just whenever you're first made, the string is just basically shooting around everywhere, making more atoms, more atoms, more atoms, more atoms, and yeah, it's a really beautiful process. You know, it works the same way for the entire universe. You know, you're made the same way that electrons, neutrons, protons, you know, black holes, planets, meteors, asteroids, moons, stars, you know, we're all made the same way with just basically string, the same piece of string. So, you know, the best way to think about it is that whenever you're born, you know, you're just a string, you know, you don't have any issues. Your issues build and build and build and build and build over your life. So all you have to do is basically just go back to the string from which you originated, and all those issues just disappear. So, okay, so that was my last little thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Once again, Magnitis Toys on GoFundMe.